Okay,
Can I
everyone's
also
recording.
record, James? That way you won't
Uh,
have to.
you might be able to. I just started recording right now, though, guys.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Welcome,
start. I'm gonna
Francisco.
set
Francisco
up the
Sebastian.
Facebook Live.
Welcome to all the new peeps. So happy to have you guys here. To our repeat hackers, welcome back.
I've got a quick question, Laura. Do you know when like in-person meetups might start again? Like a rough estimate? I guess that's a question. When is this COVID thing? It's a more general question.
Yeah, so
I feel
actually,
like go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I just feel I've seen more in-person ones recently and on meetup.com, so I was just asking.
Yeah, so actually just today there was a discussion with Capital Factory, and they are taking them case by case. So we can schedule something in person at Capital Factory. And I'll, James and I and Tim
Eddie.
and Eddie, we'll get together probably right after this meeting and see what we're going to do for our next event. Because I know we talked about it. I know James and I talked about it over the weekend of making our next event in person, or at least at the very least a hybrid event. Keeping it virtual and in person. And then we've also ramped up a lot of our kind of like outdoor social events. So this weekend, if you're on our Slack channel, you knew all of my whereabouts because I went paddleboarding, and then we went to Tumble 22 for some chicken. So if you're not on our Slack channel, please join us there. We're doing a lot more kind of like in-person social stuff like that, kind of impromptu. And then eventually we'll organize and actually get a venue to do a social event there as well.
We joined the Slack thing.
So it's coming. Slack, James, is it on one of the slides?
So it's on the slides. There are going to be QR codes for our meetup group and for our Slack channel and throughout the slides as well. I dropped it in the chat earlier, and we can drop another link again in here in a little bit also.
And then they can join through our website too that we'll be presenting tonight, because there'll be a link on there.
What? Oh, here comes Eddie. Let's get him to join.
Yay, Eddie.
All right.
Everyone's been waiting for you, Eddie.
We're going to go ahead and get started here already, okay? So thank you everybody for coming in tonight. Let me pause the music real quick. Thank you everybody for coming in tonight on your Tuesday evening. We are Hispanic Hackers. Tonight we're going to be doing a demo night. So that's going to be bring a project. If you want to show off your project, that's what we're doing. If you have questions about something, you want to get into like a breakout room, we can set up a breakout room with one of the people on our team. Or if you feel comfortable enough to ask the questions here, we're all here to help. We're a community of just people wanting to be a part of a community and help each other out. So feel free to ask questions, and this is the time to look silly in front of us because we're strangers. It's okay. So for anybody that's new, we have two different links. If you have the time to fill out a survey, we have an English version, we have a Spanish version. It's just asking some general information questions, things like, what are some of the coding languages that you do? What are some things you're interested in? What would you like to learn in the future or be a part of, so we can use it for our planning, just to help out, tailor what our goals are for the next couple of events that are down the line. I want to reiterate, the event is being recorded. So if anybody is interested in recording later, you can definitely grab that. Just let us know in the Slack. We can share it out. It's also going to be on Facebook Live. That's already going, so you can find it there on our Facebook Live account or our Facebook page. And I'll have all of those links later on in the presentation as well. If anybody has questions during the event, we do have a Slido set up. Tim is in charge of watching that. So if you have questions, please feel free to reach out. It's completely anonymous. If you don't want anybody to know who you are, that works perfectly fine, guys. It's a good way to do it. All right, so let's get started. Today's event is brought to you by the Capital Factory. They're at the Omni Hotel downtown Austin. Wonderful facility. They're helping us out with our Zoom sponsorship. And then when we are able to get back into in person again, they are going to be the location for us when it comes to doing our meetup events. We have a couple ideas laid out and planned, as Laura was talking about, to do like outdoorsy, more in person kind of let's not think about tech for a hot second events. So we can use this as a starting place. They have a pool up on the very top up there. We can probably, well, we're thinking about having like a pool party maybe this next month. And we'll announce everything inside the Slack channel and send a meetup and email out as well, so that way anybody can reach out and join this event for us or with us. What I was talking about, here's our meetup code. If you're not in the meetup, which everybody here seems has to be to get this event, but if you want to share with anybody, that's the way to do it, guys. So today's event, we're going to have a shared stage event. We're going to have a chance to do something we've never done before in the past. We're going to let's talk about our demo. What is something that you've been working on that you're excited about, or you've been working on, you're stumped. What is it? We want to know. We want you to share it with the community. We want to be here to support you, and we want to be here to maybe answer questions if we can. So each project will have 5 to 15 minutes, depending on how many people would like to share today. Right now, I have a total of 4, but it's not set in stone. Even if you just want to talk about something, you can still have the stage to talk for that allotted time. So, like I said, we can also set up a breakout room if we need to, so that way if you want that one-on-one experience also. So a little bit about us. We're Hispanic Hackers. We're a group of software developers and hardware engineers of the Hispanic ethnicity. We're here to showcase our knowledge and experience and build a professional network. If you're not Hispanic, that's perfectly fine. It doesn't matter. We are here just to be a group of people that can, help each other out, be a part of a community. Our community was started so that way that person that sits in the back of the room has someone to talk to, and that is what we're here to do. We want to make sure that we're inclusive, and we want everybody to be invited and be involved. The organizers are Eddie Reyes, myself, James Lockwood, Laura Evans, and Timothy Huang. We're all here today. Feel free to reach out to any of us on Slack if you have questions or anything at all. Some of the goals of our group are, advancing technology. We do monthly featured topics, software events. We work on developing career opportunities, doing things like resumes and working on LinkedIn, whiteboard interviewing. We did that last month. That was a lot of fun. We did that through Zoom. That was an experience, guys. Hopefully we never have to do that again, but the opportunity is still there. Hopefully next time we'll get to do that in person in the next few months. So we also help to work on the community in Hispanics, in the Hispanic community in tech, just trying to get the word out and just being part of it. One thing that we're going to be focusing on in our social medias is, trying to reach out to or honor Hispanics in tech and, make their voice heard. We want to make sure that we are heard and we are able to, share that with the world. If you want to get involved, that is absolutely wonderful. We are looking forward to anybody that's willing to help out with anything at all. If you want to give a talk, that's great. Just reach out to any one of us. We can definitely set you up with a time to be on one of our events. If you're interested in being part of the leadership team, as Laura said earlier, we'll probably stick around for a phone call afterwards where we just kind of recap the event. But feel free to reach out to us and you can definitely help out, even if it's something like helping out with the marketing, helping out with some coding skills. I know Tim's been working on our website a lot, so I'm excited to see what he's been up to. If you have ideas of things that you might be able to improve the website, feel free to reach out if you want to help out with that. It's a great chance to just get involved in your community and help out. Before we start, we'd like to take a photo. So if everybody's okay with it, turn on your image, and we're going to take a quick photo. Tim's going to grab one, and I'm going to grab one. And I got to grab my thing real quick. All right.
I think you might want to close the presentation too, James. That way we get a
I
grid
might as well. Let
layout
me do that.
of
Hold on.
everybody. Everyone's beautiful faces.
Sorry, I see everybody's
There we
beautiful
go.
faces. That's what it is.
There we go.
All right.
All right, so I got my hotkey button ready to go. And so we'll do it in 3, 2, 1. And we'll do another one. 3, 2, 1.
Perfect.
I'm doing the Eddie.
Cheers. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. As you'll see throughout the slides, we've been integrating these into all of our slides just to show our community, to show us off. So thank you. I appreciate that, everybody. So tune into, like I was saying, our social events. You can check us out on Slack. We have a social events channel on Slack that you can find us. We are randomly throwing in, hey, we're going to be here this weekend. Like last weekend, Laura was out paddleboarding. I don't know if anybody else joins you or not, but like we like going to hang out in the water. We like to barbecue. We like going hiking. Even if you just want to come hang out, let's grab a beer somewhere, or if you don't drink, let's grab a tea or coffee somewhere and hang out. You know, we're here for that. That's what we're trying to do, just to build that community and get back to normalness. I know being stuck inside has been the worst. So yes, next month we're going to be doing a Learn to Code Python event. Tim's going to be putting that on, taking the lead on that event for us. He's got a lot of good skills in that Python world, and he's hold on, invite or Evan. Okay, so he's got a lot of great skills. He's going to be showing off what he knows. So if you have questions about anything in Python, that'll be the time to bring it. And we look forward to that. Hopefully, in a perfect world, we'll be able to do either like a hybrid event, potentially an in-person event. I would really like to do in person. I miss seeing people. So that'll be next month on the 25th. It's right now it's up on the meetup page already, but it is the description needs to be filled out. So I'll be filling that out probably this weekend. Just to talk more about it, and we'll send out an email and things like that a little bit closer to the event. Ways to find us. So around the taco trucks, anywhere at the Capital Factory once it starts opening up again. You can find us at HispanicHackers.com. Join our Slack. Like I said, we have our QR code down here. Find us on Meetup. You can reach out to any one of the organizers on Meetup. We're pretty responsive as far as messaging goes. We are on LinkedIn. We're on Facebook. And then if you do reach out to the Capital Factory, that's another way to get a hold of us, guys. So there's lots of ways. Yes, go for it, Laura.
And we recently launched our Instagram. So we are Hispanic_Hackers on Instagram. Woo! So we're officially the cool kids.
Nice. I love it. So, well, that'll be added to the next events next, and that's good. Okay, perfect. All right. So today's event is going to be a brief platform for the audience. So, oh, I'm sorry. Does anybody have any announcements by chance before we get started? Anything? Anybody like wins or anything like that anybody would like to share?
That was my announcement.
Oh, well, that was your announcement. Okay, I have an announcement. I'm kind of excited about this. I actually just started a new job last week, so I am about a week into it. I'm super stoked. It's with a company named Win Reality. They're a virtual reality pitch practicing company. So they do the virtual reality with Oculus, and they work with all different levels of baseball players, from professional down to kids. It's kind of cool. I'm in charge of the marketing site, and I am going to have a whole bunch of things that I need to do at some point in time that they're just going to start piling on for me. So I'm super stoked about that. Does anybody else have any wins or announcements that anybody would like to make?
Do you get free Oculus swag?
I do not. I honestly haven't had a chance to try it yet. I've only I'm still doing like onboarding and learning about my environment and stuff still.
Can we do virtual baseball practice for an upcoming Hispanic Hackers?
I think so. Honestly, let me get in with them. Maybe next month. I'm going to see if I can host the call out of their podcasting space. But they have a green room that's set up so I can swing in virtual reality, and it looks like I'm playing on a baseball diamond, which is kind of cool.
Wow.
So I think that there could be a way. I work with the marketing team. We might be able to swing something like that down the line. Hopefully, I would love to see that as an opportunity for us. Swing, I got it. Haha. Is there any? Are there any recruiters here today? Is there anybody with work for anybody? Anybody hiring?
Yep. I was gonna say, as always, GitHub.com about careers. If you see something you're interested in, just send me a message in Slack, and we'll see about connecting and getting a resume in there for you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
As always, AWS is hiring. So again, like Ariel said, if you see something, we can connect in Slack as well.
Cool. All right.
And I'm at Facebook, and Facebook's also always hiring. And if you want to take a crack at the interview, hit me up. I can fill you in, and if you feel you're up for it, I can refer you.
Okay. Now, is there anybody looking? Or was that everybody?
I don't know. Is it okay if I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, cool. How's everybody? I'm Frankie from Chicago, so this is very exciting. I've gone to Austin once. It was amazing. But yeah, I'm sort of on the other side of the spectrum. Right now, I'm trying to build a company, a startup, if you will. And so I'm definitely looking for a possible tech co-founder or just tech talent in general. So yeah.
Okay.
Tell us about your company.
Yeah, definitely. It's more in the smart city space. Right now I'm trying to help small and local restaurants. I have a presentation and everything, so I'll definitely present it when it's my turn. But yeah, it's right now helping,
cool. Yeah, awesome.
yeah, helping small and local restaurants.
Okay, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
In what
anybody-
way? Sorry. In what way are you gonna help small restaurants?
Being an alternative to Grubhub and DoorDash for them. Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. Just being an alternative, give them better service, a little bit cheaper, and yeah, not too hectic POS.
Okay, sounds cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'll definitely talk about it more. Yeah, when I present.
Cool.
Exciting.
Well, my name is Ruth. It's my first time here, guys, and yeah, I just wanted to share that I'm kind of doing more of a freelancer, looking to find some designers to sort of what's that word? Help them, like connect them whenever I get clients, sort of help the client come up with a design. And then I try to focus more on the coding part and the deployment and all of that stuff. So that's really my general goal.
I love it.
Thank you.
I love it.
You're looking for clients to do consulting projects for?
Yeah, right now I'm in the process of building my website to sort of present, like, give my clients a better picture of how I work in the process that it takes to build a website for them. And so I'm outsourcing the design part to any designers who do that for a living and stuff.
Cool. Interesting. Yeah, there's a few places once if you have like a website or something, there's a few places we can post your stuff to that will amplify your message. So yeah, let us know.
Awesome. Yeah, will do. Thanks.
Awesome. Well, is anybody looking for work right now? Are there any job seekers out in the world? I know there's a lot of opportunities. At least half of us are hiring somebody. So does the other half, is anybody looking for work right now?
So this is Joe. I'm presenting a little bit later. Yeah, I worked on this passion project during COVID. I got laid off, and then like I'm done. COVID's winding down. But there's like 4 target companies I'm looking to work at. The first one is called 18F. It's a government agency. And then probably like next in line would be Chime, the app, the banking app, Lemonade, the insurance app, and then Citizen. I like their culture. I like their technology. I like their engineering blogs. So I'm trying to narrow it down. I'm going to focus on those guys. But if anyone knows anyone at those companies, that'd be amazing.
Awesome. All right.
Sorry, Joe.
Make sure you guys post like for you, Joe, since you have specific stuff, post it on our Slack channel so we know, like, and we kind of keep it in the back of our minds in case we do. Because I do tend to talk to a lot of random people, so it might just come up in conversation.
That's
so just
awesome.
kinda like, yeah, hey, this is my dream job, or hey, I want to work for these companies. If anybody knows anything, you never know who knows. You never know who knows who.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a very connected world right now. So awesome. Thank you.
All right. Is there anybody else? All right. So without further ado, who wants to go first, guys? I have a list. The from meetup.com, the first person on the list was Guillermo, and I'm going to butcher this, Cabrera. Is he here today?
Guillermo Cabrera.
Yes.
Yeah.
Going once, going twice. No. All right. So Joe, you are the first person today. Are you
Awesome.
do you feel like you're comfortable?
Yeah. This is should be totally chill. I tend to talk a lot. Feel free to interject with questions. I'm very not likely to look at the channel, but if you do ask a question in the channel, I'll try to look over when I can.
All right.
So
perfect. So I just made you a co-host, Joe.
Awesome.
So if you want to share your screen, you're welcome to. You don't have to.
No, yeah, absolutely.
But you have it, and then I'll keep an eye on the chat if anybody has any questions or anything like that.
That'd be great. All right, everyone. My name's Joe. Really, the whole genesis of this passion project was I needed my health and medical data. I'm sorry, my medical and financial data a year ago, and I was reaching out to companies like APIs to see if I can get it programmatically. And they pretty much were like, no, we really don't do that. No, we can't help you there. And I was like, and then I realized that they would sell it to third-party companies. I was like, that's kind of lame. And I was like, I could probably roll some of this stuff on my own. And I just thought about that as like a novel idea. And then I realized like there's this whole community called Self-Hosted, and they try to like literally self-host everything. And they curate the best apps. And I learned a ton from these guys. This is my post right here on Raputition, and it's what I did during the pandemic. And I basically took all their knowledge as a community and I kind of compiled it into this dream product. And I thought to myself, like, what would happen if we could self-host everything? Like everything. What about a self-hosted version of AWS or Azure or whatever? And I kind of came up with this thing called Sway. So this is the website. It's called swayme.xyz. And if you have any questions, self-hosting just means like either most purists believe self-hosting is in your house, but some people do DigitalOcean droplets and whatnot. I designed this for that community. That's why I got all those upvotes, I guess. They're all about self-hosting at your house and punching holes in your router and like having all your data from all your devices stored at your house or whatever location it may be. So yeah, basically it's own all your important data, secure your privacy. And the big thing is break away from big tech. And I'm not like super anti big tech kind of guy, but it's more like, is this possible? How novel would it be to do something like this? And what are the alternatives? And I like the concept of an ecosystem or a large system that doesn't have any roadblocks. There's no proprietary like thing I run into, and I can like hack all the crevices if I wanted to. That's just a cool thing. The breakaway from big tech is core to it. So a lot of iPhone users, which a lot of people love, and whatnot, it's not part of the mission. But I did design a wiki. So if people want to do like an offshoot of that, that'd be cool. And it's more to just put this idea out there in the community. This is still in beta, so a lot of stuff's not working, but I do have a quick demo for you guys. So really the overview of it is you're gonna buy a computer, Raspberry Pi, or you can buy like a 32 core Threadripper, some fancy computer. it really depends on your needs. If you're going to stream video, and then like, you know, you're going to probably need a fancier computer. You're going to do voice over IP, or need a fancier computer. And then you're going to connect your client. Most people start off with their phone or a tablet, something cheap. And then this is like an optional thing, but you use dev services to contribute or build your own app. Dev services tries to be like an analog to the AWS and a self-hosted version. And like, mind you, these are all very lofty ideals, and you'll see how I implement them and why I chose the things I did working as a dev for many years. So you click get started. So these are your personal services. So these services replace a lot of the stuff like this, for example, is like a Spotify replacement. This is a HomeKit replacement. A lot of this stuff, this is like a Nextcloud, so it's a general like Google Cloud replacement or Google Docs replacement. Paperless is like a document management. This is a Google Photos or iPhotos replacement. This is a newsreader, so it could technically replace like Apple News or whatever. Bitcore is to host your own Bitcoin wallet. Same thing as like a Dropbox, and WeChat just centralizes all your chats like Discord, IRC, and whatever. So this is where people get started, and here's some prerequisites. You need a certain amount of hardware. You would need, I would recommend, depending on what kind of setup you want, but if you want to run the full suite, I recommend at least 2 i5s with at least 16 gigs of RAM. Now, if you want to run personal services and the other dev environment stuff, you probably need 3 i5s. And if you want to go crazy and run Bitcoin miners and all sorts of fancy stuff and do crazy stuff on your back end, then yeah, it's kind of like bring your own hardware kind of deal. You're going to need a router at your home router that you can port forward. You can forward ports 80 and 443. I don't even know where I wrote Ethernet cables. It's been a while since I heard this, but yeah, so that's something you would use. You need to do, and I'll walk you through that during the demo. And the demo actually walks the user through that pretty simply. You're gonna need an account on Namecheap. Namecheap API access is like $20 when they have a sale. You just buy 20 domains when they have a $1 sale, and you can get API access, or pay them $50. They also take Bitcoin. And installation's a pretty standard thing. You install it like on a Debian server. And the important thing here is to note that you can have, it's a clustered, it's a distributed system, so you can have what's known as a manager, which is like the main thing, and then the workers support it. And then you keep adding workers depending on like what your demand is or what kind of services you're running. So it's like, so it's scalable in that way. And yeah, so that's like the more DevOpsy, like, I don't know, configuration part. But the cool part that I'm going to demo for you today is personal init, which what this does is it configures a bunch of Docker services, and those Docker services then get deployed, and the deployment then is looking to talk through port 443 or port 80, and you're able to talk to all your services from the outside. And once all your services can talk from the outside, you can connect your phone, you can connect your tablet, you can connect a bunch of these clients, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So yeah, so let's go through a deployment. So this is like my quick little dirty deployment thing that I'm working on right now. All right, so let me know if anyone can't read this, please pipe up. So during this wizard, you'll be prompted for the services you wish to install, the domain you purchased from Namecheap, Namecheap username and API key, and your router make and model. So if you don't have this information, just cancel and come back. Once you get it, you're good to go. And these are just some samples of some services. They're not, I think there's total, like, I don't know, I think there's 15 services total. And before I go into this real quick, just in case to give people a little more context. So just to be 100% clear, Sway's mission is to create a fully hackable ecosystem which you can self-host. It achieves a feature set catering to the modern hacker, and it tries to have feature parity with like your other ecosystems. And for those people have been asking me what's an ecosystem, it's like all those seamless things that work together and everything's backed in the cloud and all that jazz. So, yeah. Anyway, so back to the demo. So you would install, let's just say we only want Funk Whale, which is an alternative to Spotify. It's kind of like Napster. You can publish and stream other people's music. So you go that, what's your root email? This doesn't really matter. This actually, what is the domain you got from Namecheap? I'm going to put localhost here, or like my local IP, but you would normally put yours. It's just for the demo purposes. 4209, I think it's 8,000. That's right. Yep. Username, this is just the demo. Would you like to hide your secret info while you're in the terminal? So this like basically saying like, hey, if you don't trust where you're at, you don't have to paste in your API key. It'll hide it for you, but it'll receive it. So I'll just hit yes, and I'll type in my super secret. And if I would hit no, you would just see it print out on the terminal. So would you like Sway to automatically generate your passwords through a password manager? Yeah, that sounds great. I don't want to have to deal with that. So boom. What's the make of your router? Let's say you have an Eris, and that's the model number. Okay, so boom, this all worked. And hypothetically, this would take a long time, but this for demo purposes, I just like shortcutted the code. So you still need to forward your ports, and you can open the domain on your phone. And that's also gonna build and expose all your services. So the one service we install is called Funkwhale. So we'll look at that in a minute. But you're going to need to install, you're going to need to forward your ports. So let's go to here. And this is just a website called Port Forward. And all it does is just walks you through forwarding your port and like what that looks like. And this is a Grande one for those folks who aren't familiar with Grande. Okay, and then you're going to open this on your phone, this domain, right? Let's just open it real quick just so you can see it. And then I'll maybe switch over so I can show you guys on my phone. But it's, did I put 8,000? No. And probably is the server down. Is it up? It's up.
It's the HTTPS thing.
Yeah, oh, you're right. You're totally right. That's hard coded in there. You're so right. Thank you. That's the awesome thing about demos. All right, so yeah, so this is, this would be like a typical dash, and you would have it on your phone. So I'm clicking something like that, and you would click the client, and the client would take you to the website. So actually, let me switch to the phone because it's a better environment. I built the demo for that reason. So let me stop the share. And I don't know if you guys can see my camera, but this is the phone. This is just a cheap Motorola phone. You can buy really expensive hardware if you need to. Sway supports all that stuff. So that's that website we just saw, right? And this ideally would be populated with all your icons, and we can see what that looks like later. So, and then I would click on client apps. Make sure that works. Am I connected to the internet is the question. All right. So, so that link would bring you to this app, which is just an open source version of the Play Store, and you would install it. All right, and you would open it, and here's where you would put your information for your host name, for your instance. So just to be 100% clear, in case anyone's really curious about what I'm doing, I'm installing on a server. So let's say this is your server. It's like a little like Think Center thing. And I'm punching a hole in a router. And here's where the data is hosted, and I'm connecting apps to it. So, and it's a whole suite of apps, and it's a whole suite of services. So let me go back to sharing my screen real quick. Okay. All right, everyone can see my screen? I'm okay? Hello?
Yes.
All right, cool. So just real quick, what does this mean? The mobile configuration looks something like this. So if you guys can't see, actually, let me put it in dark mode. Maybe that'll help people see things better. All right, so up here are the services, and down here are all the Android clients that you would connect to. So a very like typical kind of like ecosystem connection. And all this stuff is optional. All this stuff is optional. None of this stuff's necessary. If you want to get started with Sway, it's like a $90 phone and like a Raspberry Pi. And you'll be able to do your notes, and you'll be able to do your photos, which I think is cool. The TV is pretty standard. It's a Raspberry Pi clone with like more hardware specs, and it connects to your Sway services. Cast is pretty straightforward too. It's a Raspberry Pi Zero clone with more hardware on it. and it's a pretty basic thing. It supports DLNA, which is like the old school Google Cast for anyone who remembers, and it supports Cast v2, which is a reverse engineered version of Google Cast that's open source, which I think is dope. Yeah, and the speaker is, all this stuff is still optional, guys. I'm just kind of throwing that out there. The speaker is a multi-directional mic, and this multi-directional mic can connect to any speaker you want. And it loads what's called Mycroft, which is basically an open source AI. A lot of PhDs write their dissertations and stuff into research against this.
2 minutes left, by the way. I don't know if you want to have space for Q&A, but there's 2 minutes.
Yeah. So the last quick thing I'm going to do is, this is like the dashboard of all open source services that you would have for AWS. So this would be the Cognito one. This would be like the GraphQL as a service. This would be a push notification service. Just the stuff, all the apps I used as a dev with AWS and Azure and Google Cloud and all those companies. This is like a self-hosting. So how would that look? That would look something like this. You have Keycloak with the authentication and all the stuff here to spit out. And that's that. Oh, and one quick last thing before I forget, I have this thing here called free stickers. And you give me a name and an address and I'll send you a sticker. And let me stop my share real quick. Send you a sticker. And that's it. And there's a GitLab. And that's it. That's pretty much, that's all I got.
That's awesome.
That's
exciting. The biggest pain point in the process you showed is the port forwarding, in my opinion. Like that would be the most challenging thing. That, like, have you looked into doing like tunneling, like through like an SSH tunnel or through like a VPN, and that may still introduce like a cloud dependency if you want to have this be like a totally 100% self-hosted thing. But it would be super easy if you hosted all of these things, and then it would automatically punch through like some tunnel, so you don't even have to do port forwarding through your ISP. ISPs block that stuff too. That's kind of part of the problem. But
yeah,
they don't.
I've known. Go ahead.
Yeah, they don't know the better if it's over a VPN.
Yeah, there's nothing illegal about it, and
No.
Everyone has a right to be able to access their network at home. So
ideally, yeah,
ideally. I mean, I think that's like part of the political thing behind self-hosted or whatever. But that aside, there's this service my friend Rob introduced me to called Hoply, which does a lot of this stuff out of the box, and it's in our FAQ. I haven't looked into it, but like supposedly, like you could literally be a digital nomad and just take your box to like a coffee shop, and that's like your
awesome.
So it's like there's cool stuff. There's awesome solutions for sure.
Man, yeah, I love stuff like that. Yeah, ngrok is another one that I've used in the past,
Yeah.
but ngrok went from being free to like limited, and you got to pay for it like unlimited.
So I met with the guy, the biggest cannabis like illegally distributor in like the Pacific Northwest. There's companies called OpenTHC. I met with him yesterday, and he was really big on VPN, and I told him he should go with Mozilla, because Mozilla is a very trusted name in the community, and he loved that idea. He was like, dude, Mozilla VPN, that's perfect for my job, for what I need. Yeah, it was cool. So the Mozilla VPN, from what I could tell, is great.
You don't need to use a third-party VPN, by the way. Like I set up my own on DigitalOcean for my stuff.
Yeah.
But like that's always like you don't have to trust a third party, I guess, and you can always roll your own. And there's tools. Maybe I should have done a demo on a VPN tool. That would have been a cool one, like Streisand or something. If we run out of if we have time, then maybe we'll just figure it out on the fly. I don't know, but you can run Streisand, or you can run now. There's like an integrated one into like Linux, the Linux kernel that it's always there. There's a lot of ways to just roll your own VPN. Like you don't have to pay like NordVPN or any of those shady like whatever. No reason for that stuff.
I totally agree with you wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Cool. That's awesome, man. Really cool project.
All right. We're gonna go ahead. Do we have one more question?
Yeah. One more. I'm not too much on the technical side of things, but even as a non-technical person, this seems definitely amazing. Have you tried Y Combinator? I think you could get some investments for this project.
Yeah, I'm trying not to be a tech millionaire. I'm going to be a dad soon. I just need a 9-to-5 with the government, and I want this to be a community project and the community to take over and for it to be like a legit authoritative thing in open source. Maybe I'll start a foundation, maybe I'll start a nonprofit, but I'm not looking to, this is not a lucrative project, it's a passion project. So.
Okay, nice, interesting.
Awesome.
All right. We're gonna move on to the next person. So I saw Guillermo popped in. Guillermo, are you ready to do your talk?
I can, yeah. Sorry. Can you guys hear me, by the way?
Yes. Let me make you a co-host real quick.
So James, what are the guidelines here? Do we have like 5 minutes? Or...
So we're doing about 15 minutes. I'm gonna let you know 2 minutes till, and then if it goes over a little bit, that's okay. But that's kind of what the rules are right now.
Got it. Cool.
You should be good to go if you want to share your screen or however you want to do it.
All right. So I actually made a couple of slides here to make it easy. I'll do a quick demo if you want to. Let's see if I can do this. Let's see. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
All right. Cool. So yeah, thanks, James. Thanks, everyone. My name is Guillermo. I'm here in Austin. I've been here in Austin for a couple of years now. This is kind of a side hobby, I guess. I was helping my wife run her project called greenperiods.org. So of course, as a husband, I had to, be the tech co-founder, I guess. So anyway, so what I'll be talking about, our project is basically built on top of React.js, GitHub pages, got some AWS stuff there as well. And yeah, this is basically, let's see, oh, there we go. So I'm just going to give a brief overview of what Green Periods is, what the problem actually is, or a proposed solution, some cool stuff that I've learned along the way, and the current focus that we have right now. So basically, this project is meant to create awareness on sustainable menstruation, help menstruators visualize their menstrual footprint. So I have a big data background. I'm a backend engineer, but I've been doing some big data stuff, Apache Spark, Hadoop, all that jazz. So the idea here was to get data, more of the quantified self, if you may, world into menstruation, right? There's all kinds of apps out there that help you track your period, but in terms of fertility, but not too much the, how much are you spending in menstrual products? How much are you, is going to waste in menstrual products, right? Because many of them are disposable. So it's kind of a big deal because I've been learning a lot about menstruation, by the way. So every year alone, there's like, a lot of garbage that goes into the earth. And then even money spent, right? Because it's a disposable world and women have on average 40 years worth of periods, this is a lot of money that gets spent, right? Here you can see it's around $40 billion on menstrual products on just 1 year alone, right? So this is basically our site. It's just a website, again, on React.js. I'm mostly a backend engineer, so React.js, there was another person on our team that is an expert on React.js. He started off with the foundation, and we sort of continue with that. So it was a really nice learning opportunity for me to get into, what front end really entails. So this is the main site. You can go ahead and visit it too. It's the same process. And what we're bringing here is this calculator, right? So the idea of having a quiz, you input a few items, it takes about 3 to 5 minutes. And then we give you some customized results, right? So we give you a graph of how much you've produced in waste so far, and then also the projection for lifetime, right? Similar with cost, we tell you how much you spent so far, how much you're going to be spending, and then my favorite, the last bar is how much the projection of savings, right? If you were to switch to reusable products. So the idea here is that, we're trying to, show people that it's a lot of money, right? It's and this is actual data, by the way. This is somebody using fully disposable, only disposable products, right? So it's a lot of money over 40 years. This is basically if you were to put that money every month, and then you basically have 5% interest on that investment, then this is how much you would actually be getting after 40 years. So again, the problem was that, initially this was like a year ago, my wife was doing all these calculations by hand. It was hard to find research for her, like how much, like pads and tampons and all these things are actually weighing, right? And then, the idea that, oh, well, there's dozens, if not hundreds of carbon footprint calculators out there, could we have something like this, but for menstruation, right? There's a lot of people in the world, right, that go through this. So maybe other people are also interested in this, right? So this is the main slide, I guess. Let me just talk a bit about our stack. So we've got everything hosted on GitHub Pages. It was just starting as a small project. I think soon we're going to have to move to another, to either host on EC2 or Vercel. I'll talk more about that in a bit. And then we have, our backend is really 2 Lambda functions. We have an authorize function. There's a really nice, it's called the basic authorization. AWS lets you authorize all your requests and go through a simple node function in order to filter, who actually gets, goes to the next, the actual Lambda function, in this case, calculate, and who doesn't, right? So you can filter based on IP and do some other kind of things. You got an API gateway that actually handles our requests coming from GitHub Pages, or in this case, coming from the clients, rather, sorry. And then we're basically sending things to Postgres. We are doing RDBMS and storing some things. In this case, basically, we're storing the parameters that people are inputting into the calculator in an effort to get to visualize those later and do some analytics with that. It's non-personal identifiable information. We're just getting the actual parameters that people use, but nothing that identifies individuals. So that's that. Just really quick, some cool stuff along the way. We're storing things in this, using this startup called Supabase. Not sure if any of you have heard about it. They just, they're Y Combinator startup. I think they started about 1.5 years ago. They're kind of the alternative to Firebase. They're growing like crazy. And again, their main database is Postgres. Let's see, Plausible is a really nice alternative to Google Analytics. You don't have to get into this whole third-party cookie, so it's really nice for very simple, right? You don't get all the billion different parameters that you get with Google Analytics, but it's a really nice place to start and gets you the basics out there. This thing with the Lambda, without AWS Lambda Authorizer, if you want to look that up, it's really nice. If you're not doing, in this case, this is open to the public. You can go out there and send requests, calculate, play with this. So because we're doing that, we wanted to set up at least one level of security there so that we could, filter out, IPs that we're sending too many requests, for example, right? We don't have a user base. We're not doing the all auth dance yet. But this is sort of the first step, and it still gives us some protection in a way, but nothing is perfect, right? GitHub Pages, well, we just started with GitHub, and then it was just the first immediate step. Makes HTTPS really easy. You don't have to deal with certificates and whatnot. Really useful if you're doing Jekyll, static pages kind of thing. And React.js is amazing. I was just exposed to that, and it is just it's blowing how easy it is to just consume some of these components, refactor some of your code, and make it easily consumable throughout your app. Last thing here is our focus. So right now we're trying Gatsby.js. Again, I'm new to the front end world, so I guess any other suggestions you guys have, would be great if any of you have looked into Gatsby JS, for example. But we're looking into that for faster load times and better SEO. Again, we're looking into moving maybe to Versal or AWS EC2. I'm not a big fan of EC2, given that you have to go into, you know, configuring Apache, getting your certificates, all that kind of stuff. But Versal might seem like a good option. Again, looking, again, if anybody has comments on that, that'd be great. Yeah, and there's a couple of things we're building, live dashboard and analytics. It's kind of like what I do, so I'm really excited to do that. Getting a blog incorporated there as well. And that's pretty much it. We're always looking for people to help. Everything is volunteer based at this moment. So that's my wife's email. That's my email. If anybody has any additional questions or comments, yeah, I'll open it up for questions.
If your website's like static, or if there's a lot of static elements, you know, you can look into if you want to like the easy button, something like Netlify, but there's a bunch of other ones out there. Or if you want to have more low-level control, in AWS, you can host your whole static content off of S3, and you can configure their CDN to you know, serve the traffic really fast, and then it's a bit easier to set up certificates and all that, and you don't have to manage Apache if you do it that way.
Awesome. Thanks, Eddie. Yeah, definitely looking into that. CDNs as well. Yeah, definitely. Because again, this is something that we, you know, people all over the world are probably accessing. So yeah, definitely want to get really fast, and also look into CDNs like you mentioned. Thanks, Eddie.
Yeah, I was going to mention S3 as well. I also think this is a really interesting project and kind of eye-opening for me, actually. So it's really cool.
Thanks, Laura.
Being, you know, like your prime demographic here, so.
I've learned so much, Laura. Yeah, it's very, it's very eye-opening, like you said. You know, the amount, and you know, then you get into the whole thing of, you know, all these big corporations, you know, sort of telling everyone that, you know, disposable is the way to go, right? It makes things so easy, quote unquote, right? But then as you know, for the past few months, I've found many of my friends, you know, and people I studied with, you know, telling me openly discussing this subject, which is also kind of taboo, right? So it's been really great to see that a lot of people are actually, you know, already using reusables, right? And, you know, just to make a quick comparison, if people that use reusables generate less than 1 kilogram over 40, or over 40-year span, compared to what is it, like close to 300 kilograms that you would do if you do disposable, right? So
wow, yeah, it's really, really interesting, honestly.
Hey, Guillermo, I have
Thank
some.
you and your wife, because yeah, this is really cool.
Thanks, Laura.
Hey, Guillermo, I have some comments and questions. I'm new to this topic, so these reusable products, how accessible are they to the common folks, or is it something that you order online, or where do you get these products?
Yeah, so these products, I mean, right now we're just creating the awareness, but I think going into your question, Tim, yeah, the idea is that we want people to then take action, right? So as far as availability, you can go to Walgreens, you can go to you know, your local HEB, and even many places in Europe. India is big on, for example, the reusable cup, right? So it's something that, yeah, you can order off of specific websites. There's a lot of manufacturers out there, but it's also, you know, widely available in your, you know, you don't have to go to a Whole Foods, for example. You can go to your HEB or, you know, CVS to get these things.
Two minutes left.
And then I wanted to touch on, you were talking about trying Gatsby JS and possibly Vercel. My experiences so far with those static site generators or server-side rendering, I think that Gatsby, it iterates very quickly. They make a lot of updates. Just recently, for example, I was using I was updating an old website that I had for my family, and there was a breaking change, and it took me like, just half an hour to fix it. But my experience with Next.js, which is something I'm going to talk about here, it's a really nice package. They do everything for you, and I think they have like a lazy loading. You can do static site generations for just part of your site as well. It doesn't have to be all server side rendered. And of course, it's compatible with Vercel as well. That's what we deployed the website here, which I'll show you guys. And then I guess my last question is also, I know you were using some of the Amazon. What were the costs like for you in general? Because is it overkill to have to pay for something like that, or can you just do something like, I don't know? I'm trying to compare with Vercel and Next.js and Gatsby, basically.
Yeah, Tim, that's a good question. So we're still under the free tier. I mean, we've had I want to say maybe around 2,000 visitors so far. So, and they've been distributed for the past month and a half. We launched in March 8th, which was Women's Day, International Women's Day. So we're still not incurring a lot of costs or any other than the domain. And yeah, that's pretty much it right at the point. And then Vercel, I think their plans are a bit pricey, even the basic plan. I don't recall the numbers, but that's why I'm debating the whole, AWS or Vercel. But I do like the simplicity of Vercel too. So that's definitely something worth looking into.
Cool, thanks.
Thanks, Tim.
Were there any other questions, guys? All right. Thank you, Guillermo. That was amazing. I appreciate that. It was a good talk. Yes. So next, who would like to go next, guys? I know Frankie said that he wanted to go earlier. Do you want to go? Do you feel like you're ready to go next, Frankie?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Let me make you a host.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't know we were supposed to have like presentations or anything, so I don't have a PowerPoint per se, but yeah.
Okay.
It's all good, man.
You don't need it. If you have like something you'd like to share, you can share your screen. If not, you don't. I don't have to. It's up to you.
Yeah, I do have, just one little slide, if you will.
Sure. Yeah. I'll make you a host real quick, and go ahead and go.
Cool. Awesome. Well, yeah, like I said, it's awesome to be here. First time here. I'm from Chicago. But hopefully soon, if you guys are meeting up, I'll definitely fly out for maybe one night or a weekend. But yeah, right now I'm working. Right now I'm 1% student. I'm still working on my bachelor's, but 99% trying to build a company, entrepreneur. And right now, small and local restaurants have been affected the most. And I would actually like to come up with a tech solution that helps them. Specifically for local restaurants. I don't know how it is in Austin, but here in Chicago, yeah, some of them are closed and they can't really compete with big restaurants. And so what I propose is a simple pickup system. Here, let me just share my screen. Okay, I think you guys can see it. A pickup system where it's a web application. So like I said, I'm not too much on the technical side, so I think all of you know more than I do on the technical side. But PWA, I definitely see it's a big thing. Progressive web applications. Too many people are focused on developing an app, developing a mobile app, but 90% of them are really don't help us. And so PWAs is definitely the next big thing. And so if you were to go on any web browser, you don't have to download anything. For example, here you go on Chrome, quick and easy. I definitely value simplicity. I'm a very impatient guy, and so I hate signing up for stuff. And so, yeah, if a user were to order from a restaurant, it doesn't require much, just their name, phone number, and the location to the restaurant. Big long-term mission I have is to actually be a universal virtual queues So not only for small restaurants, because there's a lot of competition, but the underlying tech can actually be applied to a far greater uses. As you can see here, theme parks, DNVs. I recently went to the DNV. It was horrible, long waits. And so if we can solve that as well, that's definitely an option down the line. But for right now, just restaurants. So if you were to choose a restaurant and then you just choose what you like to order, and there you go. Simple pickup system, and you're supporting small local restaurants. And yeah, that's essentially what I'm trying to build, something that helps small restaurants, but utilize the technology to far greater applications and far greater industries. And yeah.
Yeah, you got to roll through Austin. There's a ton of food trucks and small businesses here.
Mm.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
there's not a lot of food trucks here in Chicago, but yeah, food trucks definitely this can help them. Yeah, pick up.
So is the idea here that it's a bit like a marketplace, if you will?
Yeah, yeah, for specifically for small restaurants only. Yeah.
I like it. It's clever.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, but yeah, I'm definitely looking for maybe partnering with someone here that's far better than me in developing something like this. And yeah, that's why I'm here.
Do the restaurants need to register with you, or or how does that work? How does that connection work with that?
Yeah, definitely restaurant partnerships. Yes, I've
Oh,
been talking to a lot of I've been talking to a lot of restaurants, and I actually have 5 different restaurants from 5 different cuisines: Mexican, Italian, Chinese food, and so yeah, I have 5 ready to partner with me. But yeah, partnerships.
Is there like a fee that the restaurant's gonna have to pay for that service, or is it like affordable in a reason amount, like is it reasonable for them, especially since they're like not able to make a lot of money right now, sometimes the price to put your services out there can be pretty expensive.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've spoken to a lot of restaurant owners, and yeah, Grubhub, DoorDash, they actually get close to 45% out of every sale. So yeah, this we're gonna be free for them at least to start, but as to grow and to improve our system, a simple charge significantly less than DoorDash, so around 10% out of every sale. But yeah, a simple business model for the restaurants,
Yeah,
affordable.
yeah, that sounds awesome, man. That is actually something that I was uh I was looking into because I was hearing the news a lot about all these restaurants just closing and stuff. And
Mhm.
yeah, no, I mean that it's great you were able to come up with this is a really simple, nice idea. I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it for sure.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I had this idea for quite some time. I'm partnering with a lot of people, and right now here in Chicago, I'm part of a big incubator, and so they're helping out with investors, some mentors, and yeah. But
That's awesome.
I'm definitely I'm half Italian, half Peruvian, so I definitely like a little bit of mix in my team.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
good, man. I'll definitely keep an eye on you and see if I can go around once you get this going and stuff. Go around and see. Is it international? I mean, not international. Sorry. Across like the services will be provided across the country, or are you
Yeah.
starting local right now?
Oh no, that's definitely my intention to be across the country. But yeah, one has to start small to grow big. And right now,
Mhm.
just right now just Chicago. But yeah, I like traveling. So if I travel throughout this year, I'll definitely be connecting with more restaurant owners for this.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you come through, we'll take you to Piedra Grande, get some tacos if you like that.
So yeah, nice. I like all types of food. I love everything.
Get some of that boba tea next door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some what? What tea?
Some boba tea. It's I don't know the exact thing what it is. It's tea with milk and tapioca.
Tapioca bowls. Yeah.
Really
Oh.
good. It sounds weird, but it tastes good.
Yeah, I think I've tried avocado. What's your flavor? What's your favorite?
I kind of just get the like tea with the milk in it. I get very basic. I don't get too adventurous when it comes to that.
I like the taro. Taro's where it's at.
Nice.
Are you guys?
The passion tea is my jam.
You said you guys shoot messages like once you are going to be in person, just so I can know and maybe travel accordingly.
Yeah. If you want, join our Slack channel and then also just keep an eye on our meetup group. We're planning
Okay.
hopefully to do some sort of a hybrid event next month. So hopefully it'll halfway be in person. The opportunity hopefully will be there for it. But if not, more than likely the month after that. I mean, I feel like most people, and I know in Texas it's pretty much open for vaccines if you're wanting to get one. So it's just come up and get it now, pretty much. I think here. So yeah, hopefully that'll be what we do in the next couple of months, and it can get back to normal. I miss meeting people in person. So no, we all do. So
Yeah, and Frankie,
Nice,
like
nice.
honestly, we do stuff every weekend. Like now that it's starting to get warmer and stuff, we usually find something to do. I know that I do something every weekend. Tim and James, we usually get together. So any weekend is a good weekend.
yes,
Cool.
absolutely.
I live half the time in Chicago. I went to Loyola. Where do you work out of mostly? Do you have like a coffee shop or like WeWork or whatever is the equivalent?
Yeah, we work in downtown, 18th Merchandise Mart.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, maybe I'll check it out. I'll be there in June, so.
Oh, nice. Cool. Yeah, definitely hit me up. Let's connect.
And
Good.
Frankie, we have a traveling channel on our Slack too, where we can like start as things open up and everyone gets vaccinated, and we can start organizing some trips that way. And that goes for everyone else too, that like to travel and come up with some ideas of where we want to go. If we want to go, I don't know, camping in the Grand Canyon or something.
Oh, I like that. Nice.
Yes. All right. Were there any other questions, guys? No? All right. Thank you, Frankie. Who would like to go next, guys? No? All right. Tim, it's you, Tim. It's your time to shine.
Oh man, you saved me for the last, and I don't know if I can pull this off after all these great presentations that people gave.
You got this.
But let me share my screen here. What I wanted to share with you guys today was the website that I've been working on for Hispanic Hackers. And then if I guess it'll be a separate presentation for the Plutus stuff I've been working on. So sharing screen here. This is our Hispanic Hackers website previously. Fabulous. And I just feel like we needed some more buttons to push. Basically, we have 2 here. And so did a little upgrade. This is our new website deployed at Vercel. And so we have some of the social links here that people were asking about during this presentation. So if you're looking for some of our socials, I think all of them are linked up by now, but feel free to check those out. And it's a little bit updated. I haven't done everything on this website. I left it to a lot of open space so people can choose to work on it if they'd like. And this is our homepage. And then our events section, this is for Ariel. You can find the different links that you have for the presentations. So if you want to go to that meetup event specifically, so we'll just visit the whiteboarding event we had last time. So this goes straight to the meetup page in case you wanted to look at the comments for some reason or thank the speaker or that sort of thing. Goes there. Goes to the PowerPoint presentation just in case you missed something. And then we have the recording from the past event as well, so you can watch all the way through. And then we also have the Zoom conversation. So that's all there. If you need something, just go on there. I'll be keeping those updated. So our new one is not there yet. It's just a meetup link, but I thought this is a very nice space for you all to just use. It's there. It's what it's used for. And let me know if there's any links down, of course, so I can get those updated for you guys. And then we have the About section. This is just the executive team. We have our LinkedIn on there and email to either our Gmail or personal email, and you can get in touch with us that way if you're curious about working at one of the places that our members are part of. And then always email us, and then we always love to have new people come join. And I think this is a very understated, but you guys get to come visit Capital Factory. Really awesome spot. I think James was talking about earlier about the pool, and then they have some like game systems that we can hang around and play. But let's see how this COVID thing goes, right? And then just the links. Just Capital Factory for now. In the future, if there's other links besides our socials, I'll get those updated as well. I'm going to go ahead and post the links for this part. So if anyone wants to get involved, they can actually just contribute as they'd like. And so I'll get that posted here. And then I'm going to dive into a little bit of the code just to let you guys see what's going on. Maybe it'll help somebody. There wasn't anything special. We use basically React.js and Vercel to deploy it, and then also styled components to just basically style it. This is the Next.js repo. And there's a little bit of nuance between this and Gatsby.js, which I've done before. So you have to make some of these custom components in order to get it the way that you want it. So we have the document, which is just basically the whole page. And then the app is kind of like a wrapper between on top of the current component that you want to display. So for example, you want something like global styles, right? So you want that basically on every page. So the way that you do that is you insert this global style component, and you can display all your basic, global styles. And I just pasted the link here for you guys with all the stuff that we can do. I'll go after that in a second. And then after that, we have the index page, this is the home page. And then something I think that this might help somebody because it's a pattern that I've used on this website and some of my previous websites. So I just basically stuck all the data that we have, like links and, the PowerPoint links, YouTube and all that good stuff. And I'll stick them into a function, which I'll export into wherever I need these global variables. So like we have socials for Hispanic Hackers or that sort of thing. I'll pull it in and then I'll loop through it and I'll display those things. And so real quick, if we take a look at that website again on the events page, we have all these different cards, but it's not efficient to just do basically one card at a time, right? So you want to do some kind of way to loop through data in doing that. So what I did was, this is the code itself. I won't get into the nitty gritty of it. It's pretty self-explanatory. You just use JavaScript's object.value. You just grab all of the year first. And then for that year, you loop through every single month, which then has, a month, a name, etc. And yeah, that's basically our website for now. It's currently deployed on Vercel, but we're hoping to get it on our official domain once we get a chance here. In the meantime, feel free to contribute as you like. Here's some of the notes that I made that you guys have room to contribute to. We have like things like dark and light mode. And I think this is a very there's one future. I just wrote this in there for fun. It'd be cool if we have like some kind of platform where we can link recruiters and candidates to each other, since this is a group to help people basically network. And yeah, just SEO and contact forms and that sort of thing. English and Spanish too. I think that'd be neat. But that's the gist of the website. What do you guys think? Comments, questions, constructive criticism?
So I know I need to get into this and get some coding on myself. I need to add the code of conduct, which I've already found what we're going to use. It's going to be the Berlin Code of Conduct. It's short and sweet, to the point. Don't be a jerk, basically.
Mhm.
So I'm going to add that to the site probably this week or so. But then I'll also post that into our Slack channel, and I'll pin it to like the general or something like that, so it's there. For the most part, everybody's pretty good, so it's not a big problem. But it's good to have if anybody's ever interested in that kind of stuff.
I think the notes are really spot on, like some of the stuff that we want to address, like the dark and light mode. And then I know I need to get in there too with more of the stylization and stuff that I like to do. So
Yeah, get on it. A lot of stuff to do.
I know. I'm trying.
So you guys built this with Next?
This is with Next.js. It's on our organizational GitHub. So feel free to fork it and then, make a pull request and we'll get stuff added.
And does Next come with like a database solution, like out of the box, or you have to like connect your own, or did you have a database, or all static assets?
Yeah, I think mostly it's just very simple. If you want to just do like the file that I use or images, you can stick it there. But if you want something that has a database on the back end, you'll probably have to use your own solution.
Gotcha. That's awesome.
And I think there's a special thing that Next.js does with images. If you stick it into their public folder, and I think you can make it like lazy load. And I think one of my website has that as well. But let me see if I can refresh it and see if it does. I think it did. Maybe it's just too fast.
It's probably cached, and you can throttle the network from whatever developer settings or whatever.
Yeah, I'm trying to do this.
That's cool. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen the lazy loading, and there's just like a temporary photo, and then it all pops up. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's where I cache. So
looks really cool, Tim. I like the simplicity and the ease of use. Right, everything is very easy to get to. I had one question though, more on the code, and going back to Gatsby. So with Gatsby, one thing that you have React.js, right? You have your package.json and you have your dependencies there. Something I found with Gatsby is that you also have another config file and also specify other dependencies that are specific to Gatsby, if I understood Gatsby correctly. I might be wrong. And now with Next.js, is it the same kind of thing? You have your separate config file where you also specify dependencies, or do you link directly to package.json?
Most of it, for just this simplistic part, I use mostly package.json, but I do believe that you can specify more settings by using like, I forgot what it's called, but just maybe it's here. Sorry, it's been a while since I've touched this. Okay, maybe it's not here then. Yeah, but you can specify settings if you write it in there and just point to the file basically. And then just touching on your point as well, I think one of the things that I found that was difficult with Gatsby was that if I made it a change, I would have to recompile locally and then get that pushed to online. But if you're making a lot of changes, then Gatsby probably isn't the way to go. I would probably go more towards Next.js. That's just something I noticed.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try that out. I was not aware of Next.js, so thanks for that suggestion, Tim.
Cool, no problem. Cool. So that's up and it's live now. I think the link is in. Yeah, you guys can check it out at your leisure. And yeah, always appreciate any comments and constructive criticism.
All right. Thanks, Tim. We have time. If there's anybody else that would like to talk about something they're working on, or if somebody has something that they need some help with, we have about another 15 minutes or so. We can still talk about something. The floor is open.
Hi, this is David Alvarado. I'm new here. It's my first time. I've signed up. Pleasure meeting everybody. Hey. I have an idea for a product I've had since I got started in this industry, but around 1990. So I'm sure you guys will be interested to hear what it is. I'm not going to present it today, but it is if you guys have ever heard of a variant configurator. So if you ever bought a car and you can only have certain wheels with certain types of engines, that sort of logic, that branching logic, if you will. I'd like to do that for project management. So I'm a project management guy. And there's all kinds of ways of I'm sure as you guys have seen, of executing building projects. I know it very, very well. And so being able to, I actually used Visual Studio, did a desktop version of it about 5 or 6 years ago, knowing full well that it needed to be in the web at some point in time. And so I actually started to sell it, but then I went to work for a company that same month and didn't make any sales, but I had the whole thing, ready to go. But as time has moved on, I've moved up into higher levels of management. I'm a portfolio manager type guy. I'm looking for work. I have applied to Facebook. Who's at Facebook? Eddie. I have applied to Facebook and I've had some great conversations with them. And the job I really wanted, they said I came in too late on, that there were just tons of people and they had to have a cutoff at some point in time. So, but I feel good about it. Anyway, the point is that I am looking for portfolio management work. But as I've gone more into the management side, I've gone away from the tech side. So to me, my future and my retirement lies with that variant configurator for project management and not with any sort of corporation. So I saw this group as a great place to participate, not only in terms of jobs, but also in terms of improving my own skill set and linking up with other people who know other things. I got my start as a software developer many, many years ago. So my concepts and knowledge are a little bit dated in some places and a little bit too advanced in other places. So I'm looking just to kind of round all that out and similar to Frankie, get this thing on the road, get it going and get some sales going with something definitely completely web-based. So there you go.
Exciting.
That's a super
really interesting. Yeah.
That's super cool. Variant configurators are like a fascinating topic, and applying it to project management sounds like super. It was like my head exploded when you said that. That's awesome.
All right, so I'll give you a little teaser, right? So the approach is always like military strategies. So coup de mains, coup de grace, shock and awe. I've got all of those structured in a variant configurator. So depending on the mode you're using, right, whether it's an interview type, it'll lead you through and saying you can't, like, for example, you can't do a guerrilla type engagement. I have regular names for them, not these military names, but you can't hunt and peck resources and then expect to do like a coup de main, like we did, Americans did in World War II by hitting the shores of France with everybody and everything all at once, right? So it balances out that resource duration approach and lead you through it if you don't know what you're doing.
Is this like military science? Like
it is got a lot behind it. I worked with the military for a number of years when I first got started.
That's awesome.
But I don't use any of those terms. But it's got all of the different styles too. Like if you're different styles of agile, different perspectives of agile, scaled agile. It's got the old school SDLC and all that other junk.
Have you heard of this book called Team Topologies? It's a book that basically describes like Conway's Law, but it goes crazy with it. For those guys who haven't heard of Conway's Law, it's basically your architecture of your software reflects your teams.
Oh, yeah.
So Team Topology states basically we can set up all these crazy topologies to actually build the right software. and it's like brilliant. And it
Yep,
takes a very
absolutely.
like analytical kind of computer sciencey approach to designing teams. Anyway, just want to throw that out there.
Oh yeah, no. Do you know who the author is?
Skeleton, Skelton. It just came out. It's on Audible too, if you want to listen to it. It's easy
Perfect.
on Audible. So
I used to read a lot, but as I've got more advanced, I stopped reading because most people are behind me. Seriously. And so it's pointless. You know, like I say things, people look at me like, this guy's full of it, you know. And then later on they say, hey, you know, if I hang around long enough on a job, then they say, oh, this guy's completely brilliant. But it starts exactly like that. They go, this guy, he's from some other planet. Doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Interesting. So I appreciate that. I'll take a look at it. But yeah, it's great stuff. I get a kick out of it.
Hey, Joe, what was the name of that book again?
Team Topologies.
Thank you.
So like a topology, like a network topology. I'll put it in the channel. I'll put the Amazon link or the Audible link in the channel. Give me
And also too, in terms of contributions from this Capital Factory or whatever, or even this group as well. I love to teach project management, and I don't take it from an arrogant standpoint. I think everybody's got some hand in doing project management, whatever that may be as time rolls forward. Most people have a certain opinion about project managers as well, which is probably not a good one. But I enjoy sharing what I know and the techniques and how you can handle very complex social situations. The people who taught me what I know are the Brits. I used to live in England, and I get the keys to how do you socially handle a situation, because that kills a lot of people right up front on both the technical side and on the management side. So I love this kind of stuff.
So yeah, Team Topologies authors are British. Just FYI, they're great. They're like tops when it comes to project management.
Okay, good deal. Thank you, Joe. That's a great find. Thank you.
David, this is Ariel, and I'm curious. You had described, somebody also had the same question I had. You had described yourself as a portfolio manager,
right?
And is that like a finance role, or can you tell us a little bit more about what that is?
You ever done scaled agile? So agile with teams of, let's say, 50 or more, or typically 300 to 400 people, end up with these portfolio type arrangements where you've got collections of initiatives. And so multiple connections of initiatives would be what you would consider a portfolio. So, but anybody can do it if you know the secrets. If you know, like Joe was pointing out, if you know those topologies, you can instantly recognize them. It becomes nothing, right? So I think it's great for everyone to know how to talk back to a project manager and say, you know, you're in this situation, not some other situation. So quit trying to put stuff on me. The classic, you don't tell me when I finish, I tell you when I finish, right? How to have that conversation in a diplomatic way. I'm good at that. But absolutely. But portfolio, I'm certified by the federal government to handle dollar amounts above 230 million. So yeah, so in a way, portfolio is just big money. There's a financial side to it. But the true love I have is, as Joe pointed out, getting the right people with the right mindsets and the right fix to become that small, high performance, self-directed working team. You know, people are after that and accomplishing it. It's just, I love it, man. It's where the world exists.
Yeah, David, I'm gonna definitely reach out to you because so fun fact, I spent like 14 years in the military.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which branch?
Army, the best one.
Right, Army.
So a lot of what you're saying does translate obviously to the military, and I'm doing that conversion the other way around. So
when I hire enlisted, when I've hired enlisted and hire officers, I have a set chat I go through about entering life in the civilian world. Yeah. And being able to deal with the lack of integrity, the near universal lack of integrity in larger corporations. So
yeah, especially yeah.
I feel for you. It sounds like you know, probably have experienced some of that, but I you know, I'm you can pick my brain all you want. If you find jewels in there, great. If you don't, great.
I'll find them, I'm sure. I'm sure I'll find them.
I'm happy to. I'm very open. I'm sure when it comes to anything about project management.
Awesome.
please share your connection information on the chat, Dave. And if you want to, please drop it into Slack as well. I know that's really interesting to me too. I like the idea of that. I don't have the military background, but I was a store manager for 10 years before I decided to move into development. And part of my 5-year plan was I wanted to kind of be in charge of a team of developers of some way, somehow. So I think it's really interesting to me. Honestly, I think it's really cool.
Computer work, in my opinion, is first and foremost people work.
Yep.
Regardless of what you're doing. And I used to work for Microsoft. I used to work for SAP. I used to work for, I worked in the California Valley a lot. I've had a very long career, project-based career. So I've been in and out of the doors of a lot of companies. So yeah, some people can't take that very well. Some people do. It's a different set of skills. I admire people who've spent 20 years, 25 years in a corporation. That requires a skill set doesn't exist in my body. But some, on the other hand, I can be very successful at projects where other people can't. So
awesome.
Again, happy to share. Drop me a line anytime. I'd love to talk to people one-on-one. I'm a very people-oriented person. When I've got the time, I'll chat, and I do now because I'm looking for work. So there you go.
Absolutely. All right. Does anybody else have questions for David?
David, do you have like a blog or like a thing I can follow you, or just simply like an email? Because if you could be my boss one day, I'd be very happy, man.
Oh, thank you. It's one hell of a statement. Going that bad for you, is it? My email address is in the window, and I used to have a bunch of stuff published, but I pulled it all off. It's a long story, but I learned very early on working for Lockheed when I got my first clearances to learn to use a different name. So since the 1990s, I've had a dual identity with another name, another phone number, another email address, and that finally exploded into like 10 of them. And finally, one day I just said, that's just too much. And so I killed them all about a year or two ago. But they're great when you're looking for work because you can sell yourself as a different person using a different name. Which is
yeah,
great.
I was telling my friend earlier, like your online identity or your brand, your online brand can be multiple brands. Just like you in the back of the day, they said write multiple resumes. You have multiple brands. So anyway.
Yeah, I never would have thought about that till when I used to bring a lot of people, what do they call it? Provision people into projects. And you learn that most people in the world have their given name, and then they have the name they prefer to go by. And sometimes those get really different depending on which country and which place they are. And I thought, well, it's the same person. They signed their legal name, why not use it for marketing? And it just, yeah, but I completely agree. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, David. That was awesome. I love it. Would anybody else like to give a short talk? We have about 10 minutes left. We also don't have to.
Yeah, I got one more if anyone's interested in hearing about cryptocurrency. I wanted to touch a little bit on it.
All right. You have 10 minutes, Tim. Go.
I'll keep it brief. Screen. This is two. Sorry, give me 1 minute. So I joined up with the Cardano. It's one of the cryptocurrencies on the CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, just to check out their ecosystem and see what's the difference between Bitcoin, Ethereum, and that sort of stuff. So I'm going to link these for you guys, but I think Fernando says it very well. He explains how Bitcoin is using the UTXO, which is unspent transaction. And then Ethereum uses the accounting model, like what you think of banking. And then Cardano takes it a step further, and it kind of uses a hybrid between the two, and it uses the extended UTXO. Basically, he'll go over the differences and he'll explain to you how it works. But I think the big takeaway that I took from it was that Cardano is kind of like a very, it's going to be the most decentralized, as they say, because they compare it to cash. And you guys know cash is like, it's very liquid. It's easy to move. There's no like linkage to a certain person. I can get into details about it, but I won't do that here. He has 2 articles, and feel free to check it out, because I do think that crypto is on the forefront right now. So it's moving very rapidly. And then another piece that I maybe wanted to show you was the technology they're working behind on it. So with Cardano, they use Haskell, which is I'm not an expert at, so don't get on me about that. It's a functional programming language, but they took a spin on it and they wrote their own language, and they call it Plutus. And so here's a little bit of what it is. And basically, this is like a smart contract is what this all is. Basically, code that can handle certain conditions, and it will let the transaction go through or not. So I just have, this is the playground, and it's pretty, it's public, so you can access it. But I was gonna show you guys a simulation, just kind of seeing how it works, right? So I wrote this out a little bit earlier. So say we have 3 basic wallets, each of them has 1,000. And then in this scenario, there's wallet 1 and wallet 2 are just giving money to wallet 3, but there's a whole sequence that you have to go through involving the unspent transactions. Again, a lot of detail. I'm going to keep it simple. Basically, wallet 1 wants to give 100, wallet 2 wants to give 200, and then wallet 3 has like 2 conditions where it will grab those amounts from those wallets. And this is all happening on like a link, like a chain. So if you can imagine that, and then we're going to evaluate it. Let's see. And I think kind of understanding this, because I see this moving into a lot of spaces. As some of the speakers were talking about tonight, we have things like Audius, which is moving into the audio space, which is involving cryptocurrency. And then I think there's another protocol or network that uses, it simulates AWS as well. So you can rent space, you can buy space basically. So a lot of these DeFi projects, as they're called, are replacing some of the traditional technologies that we have with web right now. So it's cool just to know about it and see it up and coming. And then this is just the transaction. So the first one, we just have the Genesis block. It's like nothing, it's just setting up basically. And then slot 1 is like the next block over, right? So wallet 1, it gives 100 Loveless or 100 coins, or however you want to think about it, but also has a fee of 10, right? And then so that wallet is left with 890. So this is an unspent transaction basically. It's linked back to that wallet, that user, but it's not like an account, if that makes sense. And then the next transaction over, wallet 2 gives 200, and it also has a fee of 10, and then they have 790 left. And wallet 3 has this, it grabs both of those unspent transactions, and then it brings it into its wallet. So in the end, you have this summary. Just something cool I've been dealing with. It's very challenging, but I think it's very worth learning, worth time spending about. Cool, that's all I got.
So it's like a buy-sell chain that lives, you know, out there in the cyber world, that travels across a chain using keys. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I think what you're referring to is like nodes. There's a bunch of nodes
like
that are
a node.
hosted. Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think on Cardano, they have these nodes that have the whole blockchain on that one node. So each node has a copy of this. So that's why it's difficult to attack, not impossible, but it's the code that you're talking about, the address. It's a way to unlock the unspent transaction. It's a way to unlock the transaction, basically.
Okay.
I don't know if that made sense. I know.
Well, I mean, if you come at it from a transaction standpoint, you're thinking about it completely wrong, because the transaction is like, there's like a point of sale where there's it's the same state, but there's a change in ownership, if you will, on that journey. Whereas this is different states of the same thing. Does that make sense? It's almost like turned upside down, because it's not, the event is not based on an actual transaction. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I'm understanding a little bit of what you're saying. I don't know if this would help with an analogy that I read in the article.
Okay.
Like, you know how we have an account-based system like a bank, where it just deducts amounts from what we spend,
right?
What people deposit or give to us. But what this does is, like, if you imagine you're having a wallet and you have a $20 bill, a $10 bill, and a $5 bill. When you go to the store and spend that $20 bill, you spend $1, you get $19 back in change. So that's like one. It creates like a little box. It has the number and the code in there, and you still have those two other bills. And so those, each of the way I understand, are unspent transactions. So they're all connected to you, but they're all in their separate little containers. So it's like cash. You can't break down the $20 bill. You can't rip it up to pay with it. You need change, right? So
and you're saying Bitcoin doesn't have that?
Bitcoin, it doesn't have that much programmability. The thing that I know that Cardano introduced is, like, it has a datum, which has a little bit more data, which you can use in the transaction. Bitcoin it's very good at what it does, but it's very simple. So Bitcoin is UTXO. If you read that on the article, you understand. Yeah, so that was cool.
So real quick, Tim, every Sunday we have like an impromptu crypto study group, and there's one member who's been pushing for Cardano, and yeah, just FYI, this is at Rob's hackerspace, Rob Birchall's hackerspace. So yeah, we've been doing all the fundamentals and the books and the stuff. So and there's a lot of smart people at that group, way smarter than me, but just trying to throw that out there.
Yeah, man, that sounds like fun. Love to give it a shot and see what's up.
Hey, Tim,
I'll get in touch with you.
Can we look at the source and walk us through how the source connects to the simulation?
All right, so you're asking me a pretty hard task. I'm only on, they just released lecture 4 this week, and I'm new to Haskell. But just in the way that I understand it, Plutus is the language, and it has a repo, a library that you can download. It's like React, right? And you can use certain parts of this library in your code. So this is the import section, right, in React, if you can imagine that. And then this is kind of the logic that we're using here. So they have something called the MK validator, which just lets you, which is used to unlock that unspent transaction, right? So in this specific part, we're just making sure that both conditions are true. So basically, it's true, true, or false, false. Then the unspent transaction will unlock, and then you create a new unspent transaction. But so this is the first part is called the datum. The next part is the redeemer. Then this part is called the context, just how the environment, how it works in. And the return is a Boolean. Let you guys see that a little bit better. And so the MK validator, this is like, I believe this is how they write the function. This is just kind of like how you have to define the type. And then basically B has to equal C. The true has to equal true, right? Or false and false. If not, it will return a message. This is a custom message. This is a method that they have on the library. Trace if false, it will return wrong redeemer inside the playground error log. The rest of the part down here starts getting pretty muddy. So there's just kind of bringing in, I believe this is the part where you just bring in you tell it how to compile. And then further down, you have parts of the wallet. This is very boilerplate, so I can't explain it that much. And the only part that we're working right now is just basically trying to understand this first section. It's very deep. Does that help a little bit, Ariel?
Yeah, sure. I was just curious, like how it connected to the visualization that you had, right?
Yeah.
But it's interesting. So I'm not a Haskell programmer, but looking at this, it's looking like these are declaring the types that are going to be used so that it knows what to process. And you were saying that the datum type is the thing that's interesting, but the validator is so when you had the UI up, you had two wallets that you were deducting from, and you were requesting two processes give, both to give. And so if one of those would return false, the entire chain would fail.
Yeah, and you would get that error, that wrong redeemer.
Because but the B equals C is just essentially saying that both of those must be true or both of those must be false.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a very simplified example.
Sure.
It's what we were learning.
Sure.
This is just, I like to think of it as a script where it's passed on throughout the chain. And then if the conditions meet, it unlocks it. And then you can use that amount in there or something like that. But yeah, there's obviously a lot more that I have to learn, but it's a Haskell, something I don't specialize in. But yeah, basically it goes through and you do a give and a grab, and then you have to wait in between. There's a certain amount of slots that defines the time period, right? So it could be 10, it could be up to infinity. But yeah, they're actually, it's really new. Like the code I wrote 2 weeks, the code that the homework that I did 2 weeks ago didn't compile on the third week. Like they said that you have to fix certain parts. That's how new the language is. So they call it the Plutus Pioneer Program for a reason.
That's exciting.
Yeah, and I really like this because they're extending to the people that are unbanked. This Thursday they have an event for Africa, so they're bringing on board all these countries from Africa that people have no way of being able to keep their money. Like there's a lot of difficulties. But this gives people, the young people over there, a way to make a future for themselves, get involved with governance and all these sorts of different things. Yeah, I know. It's a lot.
Oh, it's really cool. That's nice. That's really neat that they're doing that. Does anybody else have questions for him? We have 2 minutes left for questions if anybody else wants to ask. No? All right. Then I'm going to share my screen one more time. Let me close this out. So just wanted to reiterate, next month we're doing an event on Python, Learn to Code Python. If you are interested in learning about Python, I know I am. I'm looking forward to learning how to do Python. We'll put some requirements in on the meetup page, things you might want to have downloaded and installed on your computer. I think there might be a repository that you can also start with. Don't quote me on that though. And I'll put all that information into the meetup channel for the event for next month on Tuesday the 25th. It'll be from 7 to 9 p.m. We look forward to seeing everybody there. And one more time, how to find us. You can find us at hispanichackers.com. You can find us at our Slack channel, and that's also down here in the bottom, or at our meetup page. Find us on our meetup page. We are on LinkedIn. We're on Facebook and Instagram. And you can also get a hold of us through the Capital Factory. So that's it for today's show, guys. I had a good time. I hope everybody else did. I learned a lot. I took a bunch of notes. I'm looking forward to reaching out to people and asking questions and stuff. So, if anybody wants to hang out for a little bit longer, we can definitely do that. That's all for tonight, guys.
This was awesome. Thank you. This was so great.
Yeah, thank you. Wonderful. I'm glad I came along tonight.
Thanks everyone for coming.
Good to see everybody.
I dropped my LinkedIn in the chat in case anybody else wants to also drop their LinkedIn. In case you don't use Slack, that's another way to also get a hold of us. You could also email us at what's our email again? That shows you how much I use it.
Go to our website.
Oh yeah, we'll go to our website. There you go. It's all there. It's all there.
I'll write it in real quick.
That's one of the things I haven't done, is I haven't linked our email yet.
And yeah, and is there a way to take this chat and put it on Slack? Because the Zoom chat like goes away when the call ends.
So we can copy that file, the chat itself, and drop it into. I guess we can create a channel for the Zoom chats. But the way Tim set up the website, as soon as you click that event link, it opens all of the different pieces up. So that's straight in our website already. Obviously, this one's not in there just yet, but maybe by the end of this week it should be up there. Just depends on Tim's availability to get to that. But yeah, definitely, if you all want to, guys, you can save the chat. If you click the more icon, there's a button that says save chat. If not, that's not a bad idea. I can definitely save it afterwards, and we can create a Slack channel that's just the notes from the chat. I think it's a good idea.
Awesome. Yeah.
So I think what I'll do is I'll take all the data today, I'll put on that website, and then I'll link it on the general channel or something, so people can just go access this one and the older ones as well.
Perfect.
Great. And if you folks join Slack, you can hit us up anytime.
Yes.
Yeah, keep us up to date on the cool stuff you're working on.
For sure.
Sure. This was super fun.
This was good. I had a good time. I like this. I'd like the idea of doing this again in the future. I think this was a great event.
Yeah, it was awesome. Thank you so much.
I have a quick question. Is Frankie still around?
He popped out already. He got out.
I wanted to know how he found out about it all the way from Chicago, because I'm trying to get to some meetups in DC, and I was wondering if anyway, I was just curious.
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
So I know what I've done in the past, and I'm in a couple meetups. Like I'm in one in like the Nashville area. I'm in a couple in the Denver area, and one in the Kentucky area. Is on meetup.com. You can search by city if you're interested in if you're interested in moving to a city. That's one way to think about it. I don't know if you can break it down to the United States as a whole, but you can definitely search for specific terms inside Meetup. And if there's an event that it's not inside your groups or your immediate groups, it'll show up for you. So that might be the way to do it.
Awesome. Thank you, James.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all. Well, I'm gonna call it a night.
Stop recording, right, James?
Yes, let me stop.
I will see you guys soon.
And
Good night, guys. Thank you.